The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, as every stepfather has told you. Lolcows are the single greatest example of this, as time and time again, they fall for the same bait and the same vicious cycle of harassment, while lacking the intelligence and, more importantly, the social awareness to end the harassment. Nonetheless, there are rare times when a lolcow actually tries something new in the realm of content creation, and with the meteoric rise of VTubing, it should come as no surprise that they have gravitated towards this medium in some cases. Despite trying new things, however, they ultimately still are the same beneath their 3D vessels, suffering from their lack of social awareness, narcissism, and sometimes even wickedness. Today, we will be looking at some of these lolcows who became VTubers. As I mentioned previously, VTubing has become insanely popular over the past 5 years, taking off in 2020 and steadily rising since. Whether it be the Israeli lolicons, dime a dozen anime girls, or even a drunken gyrating peanut, tubing of the V has its audience. Are you a diaper-loving furry? Well, good news, Pyrocynical, there's a streamer on the front page of Twitch just for you.
If you're a scientist, explain string theory to me. The theory is that your mom lugs a string bikini when we go to the beach together.
As I'm sure you're all aware, there is a newcomer to the streaming world that changed the game forever. The Burnt Peanut is by far and away the most popular well-known VTuber as of late. His whole gimmick is stupidly simple. Pretend to be a peanut, get drunk off your ass, stream a game without a single dull moment, and profit. Now, this video isn't about the Burnt Peanut, so I will sum him up quickly as to not waste your time. I think we need to go over a successful VTuber who understands how to capture an audience and isn't a total lolcow, so we can then see what all these other people are doing wrong. Now, to address the elephant in the room, I'm sure you've noticed that his avatar is not an underage anime girl. It's a fucking peanut. Now, it's probably under 18 years of age, as it would be quite spoiled if it wasn't, but visually speaking, his identity is distinct, which helps him stand out quite a bit from his competition. He also makes use of his real eyes and mouth, in the style of the annoying orange, and this makes his avatar extremely expressive despite not being his face. Also, he does this really fuck-ass side stare all the time, and it really gives my ribs a tickle. Anyways, why the hell is this guy relevant? He definitely isn't a lolcow. In all things considered, he seems like a pretty normal guy outside of Twitch. Well, dear viewer, as I mentioned previously, the market of VTubing is quite oversaturated, and after the Burnt Peanut's rise to fame, their numbers have multiplied tenfold. Of all the uncreative and unoriginal Burnt Peanut clones, one stands out among the rest, as this one had a mission to spread the word of God to children on Fortnite.
I am a goddamn motherfucking cowboy. Daddy was a cow and my mama was a boy.
Where the fuck do I begin with this one? To understand the faithful sheriff, we must first educate ourselves on Dr. Witnesser, his pre-evolved form. Dr. Witnesser, or Dr. Chudster, real name Joseph Henning, is a streamer in his 40s that has taken the noble task of spreading the gospel in gaming, typically with children that lack the mental capacity to argue him on theology and philosophy.
So, listen, I go into games and I teach people about the Bible.
Yeah.
About the afterlife.
You know how much that Xbox cost?
What?
You know how much that Xbox cost?
No.
It cost $400. $400.
Okay.
Before we go any further, let me just say that I am not here to attack him for being a Christian like all these retarded breadtubers would, as I am a believer myself. I will say that he is probably the most awful preacher I ever seen, however, but we'll touch on that in a bit. As his dead name suggests, Dr. Chudnuts was inspired by none other than the infamous Dr. Disrespect, and alarmingly would go on to defend him, knowing that he was getting freaky with a minor in the DMs.
You and Tim and Z and everybody else, any other big streamer, should apologize to him about what you're saying because you are misrepresenting what he said in that tweet.
Chudster Nut would get himself banned off of Twitch for doing his usual gospel routine. This time, however, it wasn't for defending Dr. Disrespect, but rather he got into a religious argument with a Muslim child over the mic. Twitch jihaded him with the fury of Allah, and thus he was banned.
Hey, forget the fact that it's America, dude. It's just the Christianity in general. It doesn't matter that I'm in America. Christianity is all over the world. So look, if you were to die in your sins today, you would be sentenced to hell.
Despite all of this, he would make his way back to the platform. And funnily enough, the rebrand of the Peanut was not some kind of band evasion. This guy literally chose to copy other creators twice. But only this time, it was completely on the nose. And thus, the Faithful Sheriff was born.
I'm doing good. Best the Peanut can do with no arms and legs. We're doing good. Yeah.
Oh, like burnt
Yeah.
peanut, you mean?
Yeah, he turned me into a peanut, actually. That's why I'm a peanut. He turned me into one. He's my he's my arch nemesis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Or not right on. That sounds bad. Sorry.
Being unoriginal is almost a requirement for many cows. We have unforgettable classics such as Sonichu, basically everything Cyrax has ever created, and Chudnuts is no exception. Despite being a shameless imitation of the Great Peanut, he will not stop asking to collab. It's like in every tweet he makes, he tags the burnt peanut, thinking that they're gonna get some kind of collaboration. It's like how Chris Chan demanded that Nintendo add Sonichu into the Pokemon roster. And the burnt peanut has gone on stating that he just doesn't give a fuck about all his imitators. I mean, he's literally making so much money, like how does it affect him? Nobody's watching them over him, so it's just completely pointless. Anyways, I digress. He just has complete total lack of social awareness, and this is the reason behind pretty much all of his online issues. Also, like as an example of this lack of awareness, whenever there's a genuinely funny moment on his streams, he just completely misses the cue to either embrace the absurdity, say something funny, or even just understand the joke.
What's up, Money Made Magic?
What up, unfaithful sheriff?
It's the Faithful Sheriff, but okay.
Alright, let's get it, bro. What are we about to do? We about to get 100 kills?
Are you gonna get those kills?
Nah, I suck, bro. I was expecting you to.
Okay.
I'm just playing.
I'm
We're about to
flattered.
drop. You're welcome. Any day, any time of the day. I got you. Alright, we got an op right here in opposition in the middle of the map.
This guy landed and immediately started shooting at me. That's amazing.
Who's Brady? Is your name Brady?
No.
Oh.
Any friend requests you receive, just ignore them.
It's like he's just completely socially stunted, and I will say the breadtubers are right to point this out, as it likely stems from him growing up in a very legalistic Christian environment that punish humor and comedic timing. He acts like one of those strange Mormon kids from school that were always doing weird shit, like going to bed at 8 o'clock and all that. Another lolcow trait is being a sexual deviant. Now, he never claimed to have a fart fetish publicly, but I mean, come on now. He literally sits there and rips ass like every opportunity he gets.
Well, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. It's me, the Faithful Sheriff. We're live right now on twitch.tv/thefaithfulsheriff. We're going into Fortnite and telling everybody about the good Lord. That's right, like we do. Later. This is our new stream time at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So that's what we're going to be streaming at from now on. So hope you enjoy it. God bless and Godspeed.
Sheriff, however, is on the journey to spread the word of God. So when he proceeds to not only rip ass, but also show an odd fascination with said ass ripping, it really leaves a stinky smell in your nose. And coupled with the fact that he loves talking to children online, this really makes the whole thing seem much, much worse. Probably the biggest reason why nobody genuinely likes his content is the fact that his streams are probably one of the worst things you could subject yourself to for hours on end. He will simply not stop yapping at any given point on the stream. And I get it, you never just want dead air while you're live, but it seems like he was just constantly craving attention and he must be spoken to at all times. Not to sound like a white woman, but it's probably extremely overstimulating to whoever has the misfortune of queuing with him.
Reload, come on, reload. Oh wow, that's awesome, right? Great job. I need help. Where's the backup? Watusi and Knight, move your butt. You got this. Just lock in, relax, let, ultra instinct mode, let your body move by itself. Don't even think about it. I believe in you. You got this.
Sadly, the only genuinely funny parts of the stream are when he's either getting roasted by some Puerto Rican 12-year-old or when he's just getting doxxed.
I can argue.
Like how you lied about being from Texas when you live at 41 Drive.
I don't live there, buddy.
Really? Because your wife does. Jeanette Hennig lives in...
I actually scratched that. There is nothing funny about doxing, and I do not encourage doxing, and I do not encourage harassment. Alright, am I good? Sheriff here chooses to yap about many things, mostly shit your estranged uncle would ask you at a family gathering, such as school, sports, etc. But there's one thing that he simply must shoehorn into every single squad he's with: the gospel. After all, it is half of his name, and it's the most important thing you will ever hear, according to his own words, on Fortnite. Now, as a Christian myself, I think it's perfectly fine to spread the good word. The stipulation of this, however, is you have to be respectful about it, and you should be willing to actually engage with people intellectually about your beliefs. After all, they likely have a reason for not already being a Christian. If you have ever had to witness one of his streams, which by the way my condolences, you will quickly notice that he literally is never successful in his journey to convert people. What almost always ends up happening is they just don't give a shit about it because they're like 8, they choose to fuck with him instead, or he will deflect and leave before they can make any kind of intellectual discussion about beliefs and such. He's like the Dean Withers of gospel VTubers. The sheriff just loves to revel in controversy because on top of making all Christians look bad, he will basically just say slurs at any point given the chance.
So, back in the day of the 1910 and 1800s, people would refer to black individuals as... Okay. Believe in Jesus. Well then, act like it. Okay? Don't say... I'm not a... Someone was like talking to me in the chat, and they're like, "Did you say the N-word?" And I'm like, "What N-word? You mean?"
Slurs are another favorite of Cow's, as seen with Danderson and Cyrax. While I do not condone the rude things he says about people of color, you can't sit here and tell me that a Christian peanut dropping hard R's and interrogating black people over Fortnite isn't just the funniest shit ever. Play that motherfucking clip, Loba.
Once again,
maybe you should get better at Fortnite for a living.
You should bring your ass over here and be a sheriff for a living. Shoot their ass and see how many kills you get and see if you whip your ass.
Sir, don't be calling me the N-word. I'm a cracker, please.
I don't give a fuck who you are. We put you on mute. Stop the N-word. Yeah, that's what you get. Put you on mute. Not familiar with shit.
You died to bots? You died to bots? These are bots! Okay, you definitely need to get better at Fortnite.
Not familiar with the white kids. Get tired of this shit.
Oh, full clip. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this shit.
That's alright.
Oh, I don't remember this episode of VeggieTales. So instead of simply locking in and becoming a better person, why not just keep the outrage going? It works for many other creators, but he clearly doesn't have Jack Doherty viewership. He's more like a glup shitto nobody like Johnny Somali, who is only remembered for being a nuisance. Another thing he got caught doing, which is honestly much worse in my opinion, is trying to get a child, on you guessed it Fortnite, to join ICE.
Well, what do you want to do when you grow up? You got any ideas?
A fireman or a SWAT team.
Ooh, that's cool. Maybe we could work for ICE.
What's that?
Immigration Customs Enforcement.
Oh.
Yeah, they round up all the illegal aliens and send them back to undocumented workers and send them back to, that means that when they entered the country illegally, they find them, arrest them, deport them, so they can come back into the country legally.
Ooh, so
yeah,
people be illegal.
Yeah.
Don't worry guys, Cyrax will stop him.
To any ICE agent that thinks they're gonna come into my home and terrorize me and my family, you will be met with lethal force. I will kill on sight.
I don't know, it just seems like he's trying to politicize all these kids online who just want to play a game after school. And no matter what side you're on, that's completely immoral. Children have no business caring about politics, and you should just let them be kids. Also, something really funny is that chud nuts will sit there and lecture and gays about their lifestyle and how it's immoral.
I'm not very religious, but I was as a kid, but I'm transgender, so it's like people use that shit against me a lot, so.
What's transgender?
My like sex that I was assigned at birth does not align with my identity, and I've been like medically transitioning. Just living my life, trying to be happy and shit.
Gotcha.
Well, no shame in that. If you're happy, I'm happy for you.
Love thy neighbor, you know?
Yeah, loving your neighbor involves telling them the truth about what God said. If God says this is wrong and that is wrong, and
you're on me.
it'd be a shame if you didn't tell your neighbor that they were in the wrong, because then they could just be damned to hell and they wouldn't know it. So who's going to open their mouth and tell them?
Well, why am I in the wrong?
No judgment from me.
Yeah, the thing is, people confuse other people of judging one another when it's actually the word of God doing the judging. If God says thou shalt not lie and you're going around lying every day, and I say that's wrong, it's not me doing the judging now, is it? It's the word of God doing the judging.
Do you think that I'm going around lying every single day?
No, I was just making an example. I was saying telling people the truth about what the word of God says and letting them know isn't judging. That's all I was saying.
I used to go to church a lot as a kid.
Well, seems like some of it didn't stick in very well now, did it?
Okay, to be fair, Leviticus doesn't lie. But the issue here is that the sheriff sits at home all day playing Fortnite, while his wife is the breadwinner. What a sad and miserable life. You know, Corinthians tells us to put away childish things, and Fortnite is most certainly a childish thing. And so is arguing with people online. So really, if you're gonna quote the Bible against people, you should really make sure it can't be quoted against you. It is abundantly clear that the sheriff is a lolcow through and through.
Hello, anybody got microphones?
I have a microphone, you cock. Shut the fuck up, man. Fuck you.
And I'm quite frankly shocked that nobody else has made the comparison. He constantly makes an ass out of himself, he has a weird fetish, he refuses to improve his content in any way, he will repeatedly argue and battle with the trolls, he talks to kids, and he is a completely socially inept spurg. The only thing about him that isn't lolcow adjacent is the fact that he's married, as cows typically have lots of lady trouble. Despite this, I can't imagine their relationship is very happy if their man is just sitting online arguing with children all day, but who am I to judge? It should come as no surprise that the sheriff is not the only Lolcow VTuber, as our next person has made the shift from YouTube King of Commentary to Lolcow VTube Grifter, none other than Anissa's husband, iDubbbz. Now, as y'all probably know, I made a video about iDubbbz and how this vile foid destroyed his career, coupled with Ian's weak will and complete ineptitude. I've always thought of making a follow-up, and this would be the perfect opportunity. Yeah, so Ian and Anissa, instead of actually just trying to make normal videos again, which by the way, when they returned to this format, it actually did well, they decided to join in on the VTube grift. Instead of going for an anime girl, or a peanut, Ian decided to go for a dragon? Well, I guess it's more creative than just another peanut, so I gotta give him credit for that. It's probably not his only experience with dragons, if you catch my drift. Also, Anissa, since she cannot be ignored for more than 5 minutes, will chime in with her imp persona. You know, like the little demon critters, to fit the whole high fantasy theme.
The imp has something to say.
Ow.
The imp would like to say that the person who is asking the question about Destiny and whether or not we're now using him as a valid source, I know what you smell and look like, and your mother hates you. Die.
Much like the faithful Chud, Ian's live streams are just completely unbearable and unfunny in almost every regard. The whole time, he tries to do this kind of whimsical fantasy-style voice, and it's just completely unnecessary and near grating, which is also made worse by the fact his wife just needs to go goblin mode every 5 minutes. If you seriously expect people to sit through like an hour of your content, you better have the voice of Triple Take, or you're just cooked. There's just no way around it. And honestly, Ian is a genuinely funny guy. Even after his wife showed her stinky cooter on the internet, he still made some funny and entertaining videos. Like I showed with the snail food review he made, there's still a market for funny Ian content. But no, instead, we are watching him and his wife sit in their parents' basement and hurling extremely defamatory allegations towards Ethan Klein, while blasting Stained, or The Offspring, so I have to go in and fuck up the audio just so YouTube doesn't orbital canon me, and my editor, and everyone we know and love, for copyright infringement. Yeah, let's talk about that Ian Klein bit some more. You can tell just how bitter Ian is at the fact that literally, due to his and his wife's actions, the entire internet essentially hates him, and Hassan only tolerates him and would gladly be happy to backstab him given the chance. All of this has political motivations, as, you know, Hassan doesn't like Ethan because, Jew, and Anissa just wants to get in bed with him, and Ian desperately wants to watch this happen, so they are willing to just bend back over heels for Hassan, even if it means backstabbing his friend of many years. And look at where all that got him. Anyways, due to Ian's failed expose of Ethan Klein, Ian decided to show this horrendous allegation with absolutely zero substance to the 100 people that still tolerate him. A far cry from the once 7 million active subs, but I digress. And he tried to play this allegation off as some kind of joke, but we all know that he just said this to protect his ass legally. And this is obvious because he keeps it up for the entire stream. If this was really some kind of fucked up joke, it would be done and over with in about 30 seconds tops, not for literal hours on end.
Strange thing. This is really fucked up and weird for Destiny to say. I don't know how to make it transparent. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this is my watermark for the stream. I don't want any of my content being stolen. It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here. But I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very fucked up. Enlargist says, so Destiny is a reliable source of info now? Or is it only people we don't like? We? Who's we? You? I don't know who you are.
If somehow you still felt sympathetic for this snake after all he's done, then all of that's probably gone right about now, because he and his wife will just do this shit. Oh yeah, and by the way, while editing this video, apparently Anissa's Facebook status is set to single. Imagine how fucked up that would be if Ian stupidly gave everything to this woman just for her to dump him. Honestly, Anissa leaving him would be the best thing to happen to iDubbbz, but at a certain point, there just may be no return for this guy. Ian is undeniably a lolcow, and so is his wife. He may not have been one from the start, but after one thing and one poor decision led to another, hate is pretty much the only engagement he gets anymore. His pathway to quote-unquote empathy has led him to making a total ass out of himself. He's clearly got some lady troubles despite being married. He engages with his trolls, albeit not quite to the extent of a traditional lolcow, and he's quite full of himself. While he may not be a textbook definition of a lolcow in every way, he certainly has become one in many ways. And also a VTuber for a short span of time for some reason. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he's done doing this. I haven't kept up with him too much recently, but yeah, it doesn't appear that he's doing the Dragon arc anymore, so I'll make the observation that it wasn't very successful. The next person we will be talking about will also have a short VTubing career, but he will be not just a lolcow, but a horror cow through and through.
Cyraxx.
Alrighty, fuck it. I'm gonna need another one to get me through this shit. I bet you never thought I'd talk about this guy again. Yeah, but I gotta be careful with how I go about this, as YouTube has chosen Chance Wilkins as someone you're not allowed to make fun of in any way, shape, or form apparently. He's reached EDP 445 status in more ways than one. Now, I'm sure y'all have seen my video on this guy, so I'm not about to spend 30 minutes talking about all of his lore. I have it re-uploaded on Rumble if you'd like to see it. Link will be in the description below. TLDR is that he's a music producing, art stealing, disabled pedophile that constantly battles trolls online over his many catfish hus, the rights to his music, or to quote-unquote protect his family. He has a long and violent sheet of domestic disputes, and he also has a tendency to try to sex with teenagers. Also, he did horrible things to a blind teenager when he was 20, and he was still in high school at the time, so that's how he got access to this kid, but yeah, still. Rumor has it that this is what got him expelled at age 20. The fact that Cyraxx has experience as a VTuber is honestly no surprise whatsoever. He is a big fan of anime, he is a grifter who will copy what other people are doing, even stealing people's work at times, and he definitely has a face worth covering up. Anyways, Cyraxx has a long list of VTuber personas that he has invented to try and escape the sour name of Cyraxx and his many past crimes. To nobody's surprise, he is never able to move on from his own ways, which leads him to being identified. Either this, or he just flat out name drops himself on accident. According to the Lolcow City Wiki, Cyraxx's first dabble into VTube was on October 29th of 2022, under the moniker of Omen0. Like all of his usernames and ventures, it sounds like some generic 2009 DeviantArt character. But remember, this is Chance we're talking about, so frankly, you should have expected nothing less. I don't know what's going on with his avatar, but he looks like one of those sickly green fish from Subnautica. Voice filters, a good mic, basic EQ, forget it. Cyraxx insists on raw dogging with his beautiful voice, recorded on Sally's CPAP machine of course. In the clip, Cyraxx is back with his sympathy farming routine, expecting everybody to just forget about all the horrible shit that he has done. He also shows off his new studio, looking straight out of Go Animate.
I initially started doing VTubing because in real life on other channels I was being bullied and cyberstalked by some very, very evil people that did not like me very much for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Now the thing with Cyraxx archives is that much of them are either lost media, have no surviving archives, or we just don't know what happened as a result, so we gotta use our imagination. However, judging by his past behavior, it is fair to assume that he was easily identified and called out by the trolls, leading him back to the drawing board. His next attempt would come a year later on December 8th of 2023, becoming the infamous NicoGamer749, which honestly, if I had more time, I would have talked about in my previous Cyraxx video. Unfortunately, he seems to have taken my advice on voice filters, which I regret, as he sounds like Theodore on HRT.
Thank you. I win. Bye. It's Mr. Beast. Here we go. Brick. Now where's Morty?
And I bet you've noticed the whole chibi whatever the fuck avatar he's using, and it appears to be a cat boy. Now the only cat he would resemble is a 17-year-old cat owned by an old lady who has wiry fur, messed up teeth, and has to be spoon-fed as medicine. Anyways, typical Nico gamer stream will consist of the ear-grating catboy voice, and he'll usually just be on Fortnite racing or some shit. Something that really shows you Cyraxx's complete technical illiteracy, apart from bricking 4 separate Xboxes, is the fact that in his journey to raise his voice for the stream, he raised the pitch of everything. So the car that he's driving literally just sounds like a dying AC unit, and that part had me on the floor. Also, for like half of the stream, his 3D model was just completely tweaking, having his mouth open, and locked in the Golden Freddy pose for 30 agonizing minutes. Although he was mostly silent when this happened, probably from all the pain medicine that was in the sludge that Sally was feeding him, just to get him to shut up. People were right to call out how creepy this was, given the Catboy rebranding and the tendency to play a Gen Alpha slop game like Fortnite, coupled with his past predatory behavior. It really seemed like he was trying to market this to kids, and I shouldn't have to tell you why that's a recipe for disaster. As you could probably put together, his anonymity did not last long. Between him having the same speech patterns, as well as him literally name-dropping himself, you would surely have to quit the gig now, right? Wrong. Well, he did quit for a short time, but soon enough he would return under yet another persona. Stitchface the Atomi doll, if I'm pronouncing that right, would enter the ring on the 13th of February 2024, this time making his debut on Twitch. He, instead, decided to go for the tried and true PNG, as opposed to the horribly rendered 3D Catboy. TLDR, this one could not last a single day, as they instantly saw through yet another shitty voice filter.
I don't know why you guys think I'm him, but how many times do I have to say, I'm not freaking him? Now leave me alone.
This time, however, he did a 5 million IQ play. He pretended that he was not Cyraxx, and instead, he used other Lolcows to try to take the heat off of him, such as Chris Chan and Daniel Larson.
Leave the man the fuck alone already. Jesus Christ. Go after somebody that's not a him, or anybody that supports him, man. I mean, good God, what about that Chris Chan dude? Go after him. Better yet, go after that Daniel Larson guy everybody's always talking about.
Bro really just ratted out his comrades. If Chance keeps this up, then we may not see him do a cover of Roaring Thunder. There was just one glaring problem. He decided that he would name drop masshole reports who you would literally only know if you were involved with Cyrax lore. Or if you were Chance himself. See what I'm getting at here?
Or better yet, go after Astro Mafia. Who's the biggest bitch on the internet? I mean, seriously.
Also, conveniently, he had a weather tab opened of Akron, Ohio. Interesting. You know, if you're gonna try to fake it until you make it a third time, then at least you gotta change things up a little. And, you know, do the bare minimum to cover your tracks. Chance is the type of guy to get his full legal name on a fake ID. His shortest comeback as a VTuber, his 4th attempt by the way, would be on the 12th of March of 2024. He would embrace his inner furry and take the name of Steel Fang, and rock this badass werewolf model. You know, when you go out to your local Barnes & Noble, for whatever reason, and you see a group of young women over in the romance novel section, just know that they are fantasizing about this wolf. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear, but it would appear that Edgar is running his fucking 350Z out at 3 in the morning when I'm just trying to record this video. So thank you, Edgar. Anyways, yeah, just play the damn werewolf clip. I am sick of this. It is like 85 degrees in my room. I cannot have a fan going because, you know, it would fuck up the audio. And also, you know, we live in the South, so it just gets really hot. Play the clip.
What's up, guys? Welcome to
His terrible voice filters seem to have made a return, but this time it's the complete opposite. His voice is pitched down so bad that he is completely unintelligible, but I will say that it's not as ear grating, so there's that. We can also assume that this channel met the same fate as his other attempts, as it literally lasted only a single day, once again. And finally, Chance would make one more attempt at the VTuber hustle, calling himself the Sonic Stardust, all the way back in October of 2024. This time, it was essentially the exact same thing as his very first attempt back in 2022. I failed to mention the fact that he would go on and on about how Iron Mouse, yes, an actually successful VTuber, was his biggest inspiration, and also would give his account of his hardships and the terrorist trolls that he had to face over the years.
Hello everyone, Sonic Stardust here, and today I want to talk about the individual known as Music Biz Marty. This man is evil.
For the last 7 years, this man has made my life a living nightmare. He really has. He has made my life a living hell.
I don't know this man. I don't know how he found me, but this man is evil, and I want nothing to do with him. I've asked this man many times to leave my friends and my family alone.
Literally nothing at all noteworthy happens here as, you guessed it, he was exposed and deleted his entire channel within minutes. Something tells me that he might make a return though. After all, VTubing has kind of seen a new resurgence as everybody wants to grift after the burnt peanut and his success. And that's ultimately what Cyrax knows how to do best, apart from talking to minors. Is it even shocking that many cows are VTubers? I mean, think about somebody who would unironically sit down and watch a VTuber. The only people I've been acquainted with who are fans of VTubers are definitely a little odd, to say the least. The people who make this content, as you would expect, are no different. Best case scenario, they are female Twitch streamers that are capitalizing off of gooners. And in worst case scenario, they are gooners themselves. Whether they choose to flicker goon to farting, their wives' OnlyFans, or 14-year-olds, they are all socially flawed, stubborn, sexually deviant, and full of themselves, which will lead them down the path of the Lolcow. From spreading the gospel to Fortnite, to falsely accusing their old friend of molestation, and even being a furry, they will time and time again prove themselves as nothing more than a one-trick pony with a new coat of paint. Like I said earlier in the Cyrax clip, I feel like we haven't seen the end of this pipeline from Lolcow to VTuber, as we will likely see Chris Chan and Nova Online try their hands at VTubing, if they haven't already. Nova probably already does watch a fair bit of VTube, so he can just find a model big enough to obscure his whole body, and that will likely happen. And Chris most likely has a bunch of unfunny ween trolls that have 3D modeling skills that'll just provide him with the assets, like they did with Cyrax. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. It was in production hell for probably about 3 weeks, just as long as the Cyrax video was. And speaking of which, if you cannot see this video right now, it is because it probably got taken down. Like, I mean, I tried to clean up my act a little bit in this vid compared to the Cyrax video, but, you know, YouTube could still be stupid. This is what I have to listen to every time I fucking record. Oh, that sounds kind of like a Honda to me, but I could be wrong. Anyways, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, as that'll tell you when my videos are up. You'll only have a limited time to actually watch my videos before they get taken down. So the clock is ticking. This video will tell you all about why my content is being silenced, yada yada yada. Make sure you watch this and you download it. Nah, but if anything gets taken down, just go to my Rumble. Again, I have it linked in the description. All my stuff will be there for you. And maybe some exclusive content, because there's actually an extended cut of the Cyrax video that's uploaded there right now. So please go watch it. Also, hopefully by next video or the video after, I will have a Patreon open, so you can just support me there and you can see some like fully uncensored videos of mine. And I'll show your name on the channel. Anyways, hopefully my next video should be out within the next couple weeks. I'm still transitioning jobs to my new job. They're finally about to hire me, but yeah, I'm gonna be making a lot more money. My editor gets to eat, which will be awesome since I'll be paying him. Anyways, y'all have a good night. Thank you for watching.